Hello YouTubers. Today I'm gonna explain to you guys the most common problems with outdoor air conditioning units. So yesterday was an excessive heat warning, and I've noticed this all today that multiple units all around the valley had failed, mostly blown fuses because it was really hot yesterday and it's supposed to be hot today. So, in my case, the fuse didn't blow. Our unit wasn't working at all due to this contactor right here. This capacitor was going to have to get replaced because see how kind of bulged it is on the bottom? The first thing you would want to do is do the balance test. See how that kind of wobbles all like that, moves around? When your capacitor does that, that means it's going bad. You would want to get this replaced right here. Now this contactor, I've been playing around with this contactor. Now I got it to work, but it wasn't working in the outdoor unit. The problem was the fan and the compressor wasn't going due to this. This was working just fine, but this little spring right here, and as I click down on it, this fan will go. But this spring wasn't plunging down good enough. Like the magnet was kind of getting weak down there from the heat. So yeah, these two are always the faults. The most common problems with outdoor AC units. Now, before doing any servicing on these two, if you know what you're doing, make sure to take a picture or draw a schematic like this. And yes, use color. Because if you just guess by wire color, if you guess the colors, you're going to end up messing your unit up more. So, I take a picture of this or draw a schematic like I did. Because you have like 8 wires you have to connect to this or more. Now, there's different types of contactors. In my case, this is a single pole that came out of my outdoor unit. There's a double pole and a triple pole contactor. Make sure to get the right one, and make sure to get one that has a similar voltage ratings, amp ratings. If it's 40 amps and you have a 30 amp unit, that's fine. That's not going to hurt anything. The 40 amp contactor will last longer. So don't be messing up this kind of stuff. If you don't know what you're doing, hire a professional. I definitely knew what it was, and I'm only 16 years old and I know this stuff very well. Because the air handler was kicking on and I was outside listening for any noises, and if you hear a little short buzz for like maybe 2 seconds, that's your contactor. That's all it is. And this is pretty easy. Your 240 volt lines go down here. They come back out to the top to your compressor and fan. And one wire coming off of these plugs up here goes straight to your capacitor, to your common, which is the C. Wherever I can find it on here, because it's pretty dusty. So, that's your common right here. One wire came off of this straight to this capacitor. And then you have your HERM and you have your fan. HERM only has one wire, your fan only has one wire. You have 2 commons. Now, these are easy to replace. It's just like soldering a new capacitor onto a board, just making sure that the polarity is correct. But the only thing about this is it's plug and play, and you want to label your wires. Like in my case, there was 2 common wires. I just stuck a piece of scotch tape on there and put C for common. And then one other wire I put fan on. I taped a piece of tape on there and wrote fan on the tape and stuck it on the wire. And this one I put HERM. So if you label your wires, it'll be easy for you. If you don't label your wires or take pictures or do any schematic like this, you're asking for trouble. don't rush a job. If you really don't know what you're doing, I would consider hiring a professional. Yeah, it's gonna cost a lot of money, but if you know what you're doing or have experience with electrical, this will be a piece of cake for you guys like me. I did all this by myself. So I'll show you the unit outside that I fixed. Okay, so this is the unit I fixed right here. The fan wasn't kicking on at all. The compressor wasn't kicking. So I took this panel off. The contactor and the capacitor is all located in here. Your unit may be different depending if you have one of those on-roof units or those floor units that have a blower built in. Those are probably going to be different. Before you do anything or service this at all, make sure to pull your disconnect fuse, which should be located right by your air conditioning unit. And if you feel like you want to turn your breaker off too, you can absolutely do that. You may have a capacitor clamp for your old capacitor. If your cap is too big and won't fit in here, use the box to insulate the capacitor. What I did was I just put the capacitor in its original factory packed box just to insulate it from the elements. And you want to save this. What I did was I put it right down here, but making sure that it's not touching those copper lines. And then put my screws down there too. And then this is the other unit. I didn't do this unit. A professional came out and did this unit. If you see a professional coming out and doing that, yeah, right there. That's your clamp. Professional came and replaced the capacitor on this unit. And that's how I learned to do it from this. Multiple YouTube videos. It's pretty easy stuff. Don't make it harder than what it is. It's pretty easy. If you ever run into the problem where this doesn't run, or your hair handler is still running but this isn't, it's most likely your contactor and capacitor failing. And if your fuse keeps on blowing or circuit breaker keeps on tripping, your compressor is done. It's failed. But if it's just a contactor and a capacitor, it costs like $60 for all of those parts. It's not that hard at all. I hope this video was helpful to all of you people that run into this issue, especially in the hottest states like Arizona. I hope you subscribe to me. Okay, I forgot this part in the video. So, I actually have this contactor hooked up to 15 volts AC. And it works fine on 15 volts, and I have this computer fan right here. Now, this is my power supply that I showed you in one of my way earlier videos from this year. So, this is my 15 volts AC switch. So, here you go. Now it's working because I've been tinkering around with it, so I might have made it plunge down better. That's what a good contactor should sound like. If your contactor's plunging down but not making a good connection, that's due to corrosion. And then here's your coil down here, your ordinary coil. That's your positive side, that's your negative side. It'll probably also work a little bit on 12 volts DC, but you need AC power to get this working. Not direct current, it has to be alternating current to get these little contactors working. Well, I'll see you guys all later.